we're going to be cooking some Colcannon fish cakes. We're combining two traditional Irish dishes, one being Colcannon, which is creamy mashed potatoes and cabbage. Today we've got some Napa cabbage in the refrigerator that we're going to use up. You can use any kind of cabbage. And we've got some leftover mahi-mahi that we had for dinner last night. So we're going to take that and put it all together and combine it into fish cakes. We've got some water boiling. We're going to add a couple of pinches of salt to it. And we've got some baby red potatoes that we're going to just drop in here with their skins on. We're going to peel them after they're cooked. So now we've got the potatoes on. They're going to boil for about 10 minutes. We're going to chop up some onion, some of the Napa cabbage and some garlic, and we're going to saute that a little bit, and then we're going to add everything into a bowl once we've mashed the potatoes. So we just take the ends off the onion. Peel the outer layer. We're going to cut it in half, and then we'll just score it like that. And then when you chop it up, it comes into nice diced pieces, except for the last slice, which we can then dice up. And do the same with the other half. Score it, not all the way through, and leave 1/4 inch on the one end. And then we dice it up, hold it together. But onion is nutritious and delicious.
Oh, I haven't got my taste bud yet.
So we've got the potatoes on the back burner. Okay, we've got the onions in the saute pan with a bit of olive oil. And we're going to now chop up the garlic and then the Napa cabbage. Wow. It is cool. So we've got 3 cloves of garlic. We're just going to give them a little smash each. Smash it so it makes it easy to take the peel off them. And then we're just going to chop them up a little bit more. You can chop them as fine or as coarse as you like. You don't want to put the garlic in the pan first because then they're going to burn. You want to put the onion in first and then add the garlic to it a little bit later. And I'm just going to let these caramelize a little bit until they're soft.
Nice.
Want to see? Can you peer in?
That was cool.
See, onions are cool.
That's Napa cabbage.
It is Napa cabbage. It's pretty, right? Normally we would just use a normal cabbage, but because we've got Napa cabbage in the fridge, we're going to use it. So we're just going to use the whole leaves.
Rock it.
I'll rock it afterwards to chop it up a little bit finer, okay? So we take half of it,
Dad, when
and
you're
rock
fighting,
it, and we rock it.
Dad, when you mine, make sure I get some of the end pieces.
It'll be all mixed up together. We're going to cut it up a little bit finer so that
I get a lot.
we all get all the different kinds. Okay, I'm busy using Giada's Mezzaluna knife, which is a curved bladed knife, and the benefit of doing this is it enables you to rock as you chop things, so it makes chopping a lot easier when you're chopping with 2 hands like that. Okay, the onions are starting to brown nicely.
Now, we chopped up some potatoes. Now we're going to put it in the pan.
Yep, now we're going to put it in the pan. Okay, all of the cabbage in. And mix it up. Okay, we're adding a couple of pinches of salt. Seasoning, which is a blend of pepper and onion, garlic, salt, and coriander. Give that another stir. been about 10 or 12 minutes. We're going to test our potatoes to see if they're done, and you just stick a sharp knife into them, and as long as it feels tender, they are done. The cabbage, onion and garlic is all cooked down. That's ready to go in, so I've turned that off. We're going to take the potatoes out and we are going to peel them. Okay, so we're just going to peel the potatoes with a paring knife. Once they've been boiled, the skin actually comes off quite easily. So you just lift all the skin off. You don't have to be perfect about it, because we're making fish cakes and not mashed potatoes. You can see these potatoes have got a nice yellow colour, very earthy taste. Just going to take all the eyes out and get the majority of the skin off them. You can see it just lifts off. And then as soon as we finish doing that, Kaylin's going to mash them. As soon as we put this one in, you can start mashing. Okay. Here you go.
Ooh.
We're going to add in a nice knob of butter. And we are going to add in some organic heavy whipping cream, just to make it nice and creamy. Okay, now after we've mashed them, I like getting in there with a fork and whipping them up a bit more to get the butter and the cream all mixed in. Get it a nice creamy consistency. Typically for fish cakes you want to have around equal parts of potato and fish. Since we're making Colcannon fish cakes, we're going to have equal parts potato, fish and the cabbage and onion mixture. Now that we've got the potatoes all nice and creamy, we are going to add in the cabbage and onion. I'm just going to add about that much in. That's about an equal part. Do you want to mix, Kaylin? Okay, can you mix that up while I cut up the fish?
4?
Yeah. Okay, you ready for me?
Can I try to put it in with that?
Mm-hmm. Get it all combined.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Even with the onion.
Nice and chunky fish cakes.
When they're in the oven, can we have a tea party?
They're not going in the oven, we're going to do them on the grill. Okay, so now we've mixed in the fish, the cabbage and onions and the mashed potato. We've got a nice mix going there. We're going to add in a teaspoon of stone ground mustard, a couple of eggs. Eggs are to bind it all together nicely so it doesn't fall apart when we're busy sauteing, or in our case we're going to be putting it on the grill. And then last but not least, we're going to put in a third of a cup of almond flour. Almond flour binds with the egg and it also holds it together. We're also going to roll the fish cakes in the almond flour before we put them on the griddle. Mix it all together, and the next step is going to be making the cakes. Okay, so we've covered our topping board with some wax paper to make it easier to get the fish cakes up again afterwards. We're going to form patties about roughly 2.5 inches in diameter, and we're just going to lay them out on the wax paper. And then what we're going to do with these, once we've finished forming them, is we're going to put them in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes just so that they can set a lot more. It'll make it a lot easier when we're frying them. Okay, so 15 minutes and one kid's tea party later, we've taken the fish cakes out of the refrigerator. They've set a little bit, and we've busted out the griddle. We've got that getting nice and warm there. We're going to put a bit of olive oil on. And over here we've got some almond flour that we have seasoned with real sea salt and some everyday seasoning. And we're going to take our fish cakes and we're just going to coat them in some of the almond flour, like so, before we put them on the grill. The almond flour is going to add some more flavor, and it is going to give them a nice brown crust on the outside. So we don't eat grains at all, and so we're using almond flour here. You could use any other kind of flour if you do eat wheat or whatever flour that you prefer. You can use that instead. Like I said, we just prefer not to eat wheat, so almond flour does the job really well. You want to let the grill get nice and hot before you start putting them on. Okay, so while our fish cakes are busy cooking, I'm just going to whip up a quick sauce to put on top. It's going to be a creamy mustard dressing. So all we need is a small teaspoon of mustard. Got organic stone ground mustard here. We're going to add in a little bit of olive oil. We're going to whip that up. We're going to put in some organic heavy whipping cream. We're going to whip that up. We're going to add in a bit of seasoning. And some salt. And just whip that up. And you're going to have a nice creamy mustard sauce to go on top of the fish cakes. Okay, we just flipped the fish cakes and we cooked them about 5 minutes on each side. Everything inside is already cooked, so you just want to get a nice sear on the outside, give it that nice flavor. And 5 more minutes and we're going to be done. Okay, so we've used a Napa cabbage leaf on each of the plates. We've tried to present it as nicely as possible. We've got a fish cake on each one of the plates, and we're going to drizzle a little bit of the special mustard sauce that I made earlier over the top. So fish cakes is one of my most favourite things to eat, and here I've combined it with Colcannon, which is also a very good Irish or traditional Irish dish that I grew up with my family heritage being from Ireland. So for me, this is a real treat. This has been Gavin Stone from Authentic Human. You can catch me on authentic-human.com or follow me on Twitter @GavinStone. Okay, so we're ready for lunch. Bon appetit!